We have the power to change this narrative. It starts right here with every single one of us believing in what comes next.
And as you can see on the slide, the projections for Q4 are unprecedented. This is the opportunity we've been waiting for.
Look inside yourselves and find that fire. You have the power to change your world starting right now.
We chase these dreams thinking they'll save us. But the truth is, the real magic happens when you stop running and face what's right here. And in that moment, I realized that fear is a choice, but so is courage. We just have to decide which one defines us. We cannot stand by while this happens. The time for action is now, and we must seize this moment before it is too late. I stood there, watching the waves crash against the shore, realizing that sometimes the time has come to raise our voices as one and embrace the future we have dreamed of.
The data tells us a compelling story, but stories only matter if we act on them. We have to be brave enough to challenge the status quo.
But the truth is, until we face that darkness together, we'll never truly see the light that follows. And that's the core principle we need to focus on today. It's about shifting our perspective, even when it's uncomfortable.
When we look at the data, the path forward becomes incredibly clear. We have an opportunity right now to redefine how we approach this challenge.
They told me I couldn't do it.
They said I was too weak, too afraid, but they didn't know the fire I carried inside.
When we look at the data from the last quarter, the trend becomes clear. This is why we must act now.
We cannot stand by while this happens. We have to act now before it's too late for all of us. The key is not to focus on the challenges ahead, but on the strength we find in our community. Together, we can achieve remarkable things.
I used to think courage meant not being afraid, but I was wrong. Courage is facing that fear head on.
He looked at me, completely serious, and said, "You can't stay here." And in that moment, everything changed. I knew I had to leave. The future we envision starts not with technology, but with how we choose to connect with one another. And that's when I realized we weren't just building a house, we were building a home together. We stand here tonight at the precipice of possibility, looking out not just at this room, but at the future we choose to build together. I remember standing on the edge, ready to give up. But then I realized that wasn't the end. It hurts so much. I don't know what to do. We have the power to change this trajectory, but only if we act together right now. And in that moment, standing on the edge, I realized that fear was a choice, but hope was a superpower. We just have to claim it. I realized then that courage wasn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it, even when the outcome was uncertain. When I looked out at the crowd that night, I understood why I had to share this with you. Because this isn't just my story, it's ours. We stand at a pivotal moment in our history. The choices we make today will define the world of tomorrow. For years, I told myself this was enough. The applause, the bright lights. The hardest part wasn't the climb itself, but deciding to take the first step into the unknown. It wasn't the treasure we found that mattered, but the journey we took to get there. That's when I finally understood what she meant. I see the potential in this room. This is the moment we stop waiting for change and start creating it. True elegance isn't about what you accumulate, but what you refine. It's about clarity of purpose and intentional design. And that brings me to the core of our strategy. We aren't just adapting to the future, we are actively creating it together. So I look at him and I say, "Are you serious?" And he just shrugs. That's when I knew I had to get out of there. The moment I stepped onto that path, everything changed. I knew then that failure wasn't an option anymore. And in that moment, standing there on the edge of everything I knew, I realized I wasn't alone at all. We were all in it together. We have the power to change this narrative. It starts right here, with us deciding that the future will be different. We stand here tonight not just as individuals, but as a collective voice refusing to be silenced any longer.
The challenge may seem great, but our capacity to innovate is even greater. This is the moment we redefine what's possible.
When we analyzed the data, the pattern became clear. The real innovation happens at the intersections, not the silos. And that is the core idea I want to share with you today. If we embrace this change, the possibilities are truly limitless. And in that moment, standing under the harsh light, I finally understood why I had come all this way. It wasn't for the applause.
We often forget that the most profound changes start not with grand gestures, but with the quiet courage to share our truth.
We moved closer, searching for answers in the darkness, unsure if we would ever find our way back home. If we look closely at the data, the path forward becomes incredibly clear. We are entering a new era of possibility. I stand before you completely exposed, sharing this truth not for your pity, but for my own freedom.